Welcome back. Oh boy, we're running behind, and I have so many wonderful guests to talk to today. So joining me now is Dallas Fort Worth immigration attorney Ann Badmus. I invited her to join us because the speech was immigration heavy. That is obviously a big, important job that Mr. Trump feels like he needs to get accomplished. And what I heard in the beginning of him talking about immigration was going to a merit-based immigration system. So first of all, Ann, welcome to the program. So what is a merit-based immigration system? How does it work? Who's doing it now?
Well, the system that I know most about would be Canada. And so a merit-based system is basically a system where an individual is looked at in terms of what it can contribute to the country that he or she is trying to immigrate to. So, for example, in Canada, they had or have a system pretty much called a point system, and they'll allot points to an individual based on their profession, based on the skill set that they need in Canada, a variety of factors. So basically a merit-based system is really a system that looks at the individual as opposed to someone being sponsored into the country, which is basically what our system is, really a sponsorship system.
But that's not really the case when you have refugees or you have people fleeing war. I mean, I'm sure Canada also allows they must take some refugees a year.
Oh, yes. So this is actually, I mean, refugees are pretty much a different, I guess, set or different thing that we're looking at. So certainly we also have, taken refugees as well. So most countries do that. But the merit-based system, I believe that President Trump was referring to, is more in terms of others who are trying to immigrate for reasons other than escaping, persecution.
Right, and I get that, and I think everyone would agree. Yes, that's a great system. We have a much bigger country than Canada, so we have much bigger problems and many more people trying to come in. So, would it be possible for us to function on a merit-based system?
Well, actually, there was in the 2013 bill by the Senate, which was proposed comprehensive immigration reform. That wasn't taken up by the House, actually had quite a bit of merit-based system in that system. It certainly is possible. It would require a lot of changes in the way the system is currently in terms of, taking applications and going through the entire process, which is, again, our system is very much based on sponsorship. So you have to have either an employer who already knows you and wants to hire you to get into the U.S., or you have to have a family member, a close relative that could sponsor you into the system. So, it would mean a big overhaul.
Now, also today, it was, I believe I even saw this on Twitter, that the president said he envisions a bill where those who haven't committed any serious crimes could stay in the U.S. legally, if they're holding a job and paying taxes. So let's say these are people that are currently illegal. Is this a change on the way he was looking at it? It's not somebody who has legal status yet, but someone who has a paying job.
Well, it certainly looks like a change from what we had heard previously. So certainly, but again, that's what we would have, I guess, in some ways called legalization or amnesty, as some people would call it. So that does seem like we didn't hear it tonight, but it does seem like a change if we hear that in the future.
Do you know anything about this new organization, Voice, Victims of Immigration Crime Engagement? The president was booed, I'm imagining by the Democrats, when he announced this new agency. Have you heard of it before tonight?
Well, I've heard it is part of one of the executive orders for immigration executive orders that was signed by President Trump a couple of weeks ago. That's the one based on interior enforcement, and so that was one of the proposals or one of the, requirements or what he's trying to set up in that order. So I've heard it in that sense, but no, there's not an existing organization like that until now.
Okay, but it sounded like something to round up those, people who are committing crimes and booting them out of the country.
Well, that's part of the interior enforcement, order. So that certainly would be part of it. I believe it sounded like, or what I've read from the order is that it seems to be also an outlet for those who feel or have been victimized by undocumented immigrants.
I'm speaking with Ann Badmus. She is a Dallas-Fort Worth-based immigration attorney. And Ann, I know that you focus on these dreamers. These are kids that have been brought over by their parents. Their parents may have been illegal. So are you inundated with dreamers that are worried about being deported?
I wouldn't say inundated, but yes, I mean, there are many of them who have been Dreamers and have received at least what we call DACA, which is deferred action by the previous administration. And so that's still in effect now, but they're certainly worried whether or not they're going to continue to have that.
What is their status now, and what will it be?
If they have applied and did receive what we call DACA status, then they still have that.
Okay.
It's unexpired, but it's going to be basically having up to the president whether it's going to extend it or not extend it, but continue it from any point forward. So right now, anybody who currently has DACA is still considered to not necessarily be in status, but are allowed to be here and actually have work authorization. But once that expires, unless the president allows it to continue and allows them to reapply, then they would basically be back to where they were before.
Even if they've been in this country their whole life?
Yes.
Wow. Very interesting stuff. Still lots to work out. Ann Badmus, I'm so sorry that we're out of time. We got a late start as the speech ran long, but thank you so much for your expertise here on the show, and we will call you again.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ann.